the unique mission of bioethics and the unique structure of the institute that's been set up has led itself to being kind of the exemplar, if you will, of what one university means at Hopkins and how such even a relatively small institute can have a cross-university impact. And so this is an uncompensated board where people give their time and talent. And I'd like to thank Alex Levy for being such a good director of the board, chairman of the board, and who is also an emeritus trustee of the university. Thank you, Alex, and I'm delighted to yield the floor to you. Thank you.
The transition from Ruth to Jeff was like the passing of the baton on the U.S. Olympic relay team, done flawlessly and with such grace. He is here today because he was by all definition the most qualified candidate. He carried himself with poise, confidence, charm, intelligence, and generosity. Now I have the duty and pleasure of introducing my dear friend and fellow board member, Andreas Dracopoulos. One of the great benefits of volunteering for nonprofit board service is the new relationships that are possible. He always wants me to focus on the Institute and not on him. But I only wish I could say honestly, I'm sorry. But that's not the case, as Andreas deserves this recognition. So without further ado, it is my pleasure to present my dear friend and Bordeaux lover, Andreas Dracopoulos.
Bioethics will continue to play a very important role in our society going forward, and Hopkins is very lucky to have the Berman Institute, and most importantly, the team of devoted people who work in it. Hard work, teamwork, intellectual capacity, common sense, strong ethics, passion, devotion, and love for what you do can only mean one thing for Jeff's directorship: great success for him, for Berman, for Hopkins, and for all of us living during these very complex times. Now I would like to ask Ruth to come to the podium, fellow Cowboys fan, the person who has actually made all this possible and the person without whom we would not be here celebrating today.
His ambition for the Berman Institute emboldened my own, pushing us forward in ways that I am quite sure would not have happened but for Andreas. In endowing the directorship of the Berman Institute, Andreas made the most strategic gift imaginable toward safeguarding the future of the Berman Institute. I now have the distinct pleasure of saying a few words about that new director, another treasured person in my life, with whom I also share a deep and special friendship, Jeff Kahn. There is no one better suited, no one better qualified anywhere in the world to be the next Dracopoulos director than Jeff. Simply put, Jeff is the leader for the Berman Institute. Jeff is passionate about our field and passionate about its potential to make the world a better place. I cannot overstate how lucky we are to have him at the helm of the Berman Institute. It is with great pleasure that I call to the podium the second Andreas C. Dracopoulos Director of the Johns Hopkins Berman Institute of Bioethics, Dr. Jeffrey Kahn.
The Berman Institute is not so much a thing or even a place, although we could not be what we are without our wonderful and unique in the field home in Deering Hall. But the Berman Institute is a community of scholars taking on the big and important issues of our time in healthcare, in public health, and in science. But its success depends on the reputation for excellence that it has developed, a function of our faculty colleagues, and who truly are the best in our field. So what comes next? More than ever, our work in bioethics is critical for clarifying the hard questions, working to blunt the hardships, minimize the challenges, set a path forward, or at least shine a bit of light to show the way on the challenges faced by our society. We have the best colleagues in the world, truly so, talented people who are at the peak of their careers, and I want to say just a few words to you all in the room today. As the Dracopoulos director of the Berman Institute, I will encourage you to continue to take on hard questions, and I will support your doing so both when it's popular, but more importantly, when it is not. Now more than ever, our work needs to be accessible to groups that include but extend beyond our academic peers, to policymakers, to professionals, to those leading non-governmental organizations, and those building and shaping businesses, and of course to the public. If you're lucky in your professional life, however, who you are and what you do come together. Being named the Dracopoulos Director is the dream version of that relationship for me, where I get to wake up every day and think about what is the right thing to do and how we might achieve it. What could be more fulfilling than leading a world-leading institute full of talented colleagues with an opportunity to have a real effect on the world? What is it that we have to say that's important enough that people should listen? Our ongoing task will be to answer that question, and I dearly look forward to our continuing to answer it together. Thank you all for coming today.